What? I thought this was completely about.
Why are the eggs so colorful?
No way. Christ's resurrection or the crucifixion during Friday. It's on a Good Friday, so the first Friday of April.
What the
They
hell?
engage in sexual acts were virgin.
What the hell?
What the hell?
God damn,
What
son.
the-
Whoa.
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
Shakalaka boom boom ratio. That's crazy, bro.
That's crazy.
Bro, giving up a baby, that's 500 grams of protein. Pause.
Dark as hell,
Brother.
bro.
There's something called food coloring. You feel me? And I thought balut was bad enough. You have the Filipino egg balut?
Welcome back, everyone, to this new episode we got for you today, which is called
Raja.
Sanjay back in the building, baby.
Right. Easter is coming up soon, and I know that you guys are going to be enjoying your time off. I know for sure I am. What are your plans, boys?
I'm just going to go out, get some chocolate eggs, and eat it up.
I was gonna say the same thing. I love chocolate, so I'll be like having some of the chocolates. You know those big ass chocolates that you get? And you get it on special too, so why not make the most out of the opportunity?
You know what confuses me a lot? So, how is Easter associated with Jesus? Like, for example, the chocolate eggs and the rabbits? Because I'm not sure if anywhere in the Bible Jesus specifically talks about them.
Yeah, and how does a bunny produce eggs? We're mammals, fam. We're not supposed to do that.
And what I also don't get is like how if Jesus got crucified on a specific day and he got resurrected on a specific day, why does Good Friday, which celebrates the crucifixion of Christ,
It's on a Sunday sometimes.
no,
Which is crazy.
No, it isn't. It's
Oh, is it?
called Good Friday for
Oh, well, I was under the rock then for that one.
Still under a rock.
yeah. But anyways, like it keeps changing every year, Good Friday. So
Yeah.
what's going on? Like, is that supposed to be a specific day? Like, you know, Christmas, right?
Yeah.
25th of December.
Yeah.
Well, since I am not sure about what's happening on Easter and what Easter is about, I want to watch some educational video on what's happening and educate myself. So sit back, relax, and we're going to be watching this video on what the story of Easter is about and how it came about the way it is meant to be today.
Hopefully it will answer some questions that you guys have on Easter, and especially I hope it answers my questions as well.
And make sure to put on your headphones for a better viewing experience.
All right.
All right. Let's get this show started.
So Easter is coming up. To most, this is a day of celebration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. But where did this come from? How did Easter come about? This video will go over the history of Easter and why you may or may not want to celebrate this holiday. Spoiler alert, this day has very little to do with Jesus.
Yeah.
Before we get into it though,
What? I thought this was completely about.
Why are the eggs so colorful? It don't make sense to me.
Alright. I mean, look, I know from my perspective, it's just for me, I just enjoy the holiday. I'm not a Christian, so. But let's find out more.
Before we get into it though, I want to quickly mention, as Christians, our number one goal is to bring glory to God and to reach out to lost souls. And if Easter is what it takes to do that, God can use it. But even still, facts are important. Background is important. That's what this video is about. It's not about some technicalities just for the sake of being technical. So if after learning these facts, you still feel comfortable celebrating this holiday with Easter eggs, Easter bunnies, and whatnot, that's your business between you and God. So let's jump in.
A little judgmental, don't you think?
So let's jump in. What is Easter? As I mentioned a little earlier, it's a celebration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. This holiday includes Easter sunrise services, Easter egg hunting, painting and dyeing of eggs, baking and eating hot cross buns. But unlike most other holidays, it doesn't fall on the same day every year. In fact, it's celebrated on the first Sunday after the full moon of the vernal equinox, also known as the spring equinox or the March equinox. This means that Easter falls sometime between the end of March and April 25th. So why at this time? Why is Easter so closely related to the movement of the sun and the earth? That's because Easter originated as a pagan ritual.
No way. So
It can fall in between any of those days? Is that what you're telling me?
no, that's when the equinox falls onto any of those days. But because we associate, I think, Christ's resurrection or the crucifixion during Friday. It's on a Good Friday, so the first Friday of April.
Yeah.
And what's with that lamb head on that lady's head? I don't get it.
God damn.
So
That's crazy, not gonna lie.
I think it's about to get creepier. I think it's about to get creepier.
every time, back in the day, paganism was actually looked down upon, and Christianity and paganism were always at a tuffle. Is it
Tussle.
tussle? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was always at a tussle, and to make sure that pagans looked a bit demonized, they always put in like a skull head or
Oh.
yeah, they used to just demonize pagans with as much of those imagery as they could. Even like Satan as well.
Yeah.
You know how he has like a goat's head and all that? That's
Yeah.
because the pagans were celebrating goats back in the day.
They used to worship. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of like ritual connotate, or like all these imageries and all that symbolisms were derived from back in the day where Christianity and paganism were in a tussle.
Yeah.
Right.
So why this picture? But damn, so what's happening here is that Christianity adopted a pagan.
There's a reason behind that, because obviously a lot of pagans, to get them to adapt to Christianity, they would have to sort of merge their beliefs so that it's easier for them to understand, right? Like, we can keep watching.
Linguistically,
Let's keep
the
watching.
word Easter shares its roots with Ostara, also known as Eostre or Ishtar. Those three words are just different names for the same goddess, depending on that pagan culture. The holiday of Ostara is a pagan holiday, and it's celebrated even today. Depending on the year, it's celebrated sometime between March 19th and the 21st, and it honors their goddess Ostara. To celebrate, pagans put out food such as eggs and sprouts to celebrate the fertility of the land. That's because Ostara, or Eostre, or Ishtar, is a goddess of fertility. Ancient pagans would actually celebrate this holiday by having sex rituals.
What the
They
hell?
engage in sexual acts where virgins.
What the hell?
What the hell?
God damn,
What the-
son. Whoa.
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
Shakalaka boom boom ritual. That's crazy, bro.
That must have been a great time to be a priest, my friend.
Alright, let's keep watching.
Where virgins who represent the goddess were impregnated by priests of Baal. Yes, this is the same Baal, the sun god, that Moses and Elijah preached against.
Switching professions today.
Now, these babies would then be born about 9 months later, around the end of December, when they would celebrate the sun god. Then on the following Ostara day, or Eostre or Ishtar day, these babies would be sacrificed.
Whoa.
But why? You may be wondering,
That's crazy.
Bro, giving up a baby, that's 500 grams of protein.
Whoa. Wait, what? Okay,
That's crazy.
what? What did
Whoa.
I just hear? You just said babies equal 500 grams of protein.
Yeah, he's thinking about the macros, bro.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
crazy. Why would
Oh.
someone just sacrifice
Sacrifice a
babies? Oh
child.
my god.
I mean, that was their thing.
No, so I think if you heard it correctly, the priests would impregnate virgin women, and from that, they'd sacrifice the babies. So maybe because the babies represent like
Something.
something.
Some sort of sacrifice, yeah.
Not to draw on religion here, but it's sort of drawing parallels to like Jesus Christ.
No. This is a pagan. This is not related. This is before Jesus.
Yeah, but like think about it: virgin women, pure babies.
Oh, is that why they brought Easter and thing together? That's what your theory is?
Controversial.
Controversial,
That's very controversial.
but also so the goat god becomes the Satan.
but why?
Okay.
You may be wondering why. How did something like this become linked with Christianity? This all makes sense if you look at the history of the Catholic Church. At 312 AD, the Roman Emperor Constantine converted from paganism to what's known today as Roman Catholicism.
Yeah.
After converting, he tried to Christianize the entire empire, which still mainly consisted of pagans. Of course, people don't just ditch their faiths that easily, and he knew this. So he incorporated several pagan holidays and traditions and made his own holidays. One of them is Easter.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the Easter eggs and Easter rabbits. Where do they come in? Both eggs and rabbits are symbols of fertility. Eggs actually played a big role in the pagan rituals that we spoke about earlier. After sacrificing the babies, they get the blood of the babies and use that to dye the eggs, which were then placed in rabbit nests. This is the origin story of Easter egg hunting. This is some dark stuff.
Pause.
Dark as hell,
Brother.
bro.
There's something called food coloring. You feel me? Like, you didn't have to go that deep, like authenticity.
They didn't have it at that time.
Gee
Bro.
whiz.
Oh my god.
Oh my days. That's
I'm
crazy.
speechless, lost for words.
That's on another level. Like first
And I thought balut was bad enough. You know the Filipino egg balut? Philippines, they have the half-grown
what is
embryo.
that?
Is that
The half-grown embryo of a chicken or duck, and they eat that. And I thought
Yeah.
that was bad enough. This is next level. Bro.
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
imagine like a woman who's a virgin gets impregnated by a priest, carries the baby for 9 months,
Yeah.
sacrifices the baby.
It's like
For food coloring.
this is escalating to 0 to 100 real quick.
Only for the
Oh
baby's
my God.
blood to be food coloring. Yeah, you're right.
Oh
Like,
my god. It's not even like I don't even know if they ate those eggs.
Another Christian holiday that's closely related to Easter is Good Friday. This holiday is simply the Friday before Easter Sunday. And according to most Christians, this is the day that Jesus was crucified on the cross and was buried. But there's a problem with this too. If you turn to John chapter 11, verses 9 through 12, in these verses, Jesus asks a rhetorical question. Are there not 12 hours in a day? Now, logically speaking, if there are 12 hours in a day, there are 12 hours in a night. We know this. In Matthew chapter 12, verse 40, Jesus makes an allusion to Jesus' death and the resurrection to Jonah being in the whale's belly 3 days and 3 nights. The Bible is not vague about this. It very clearly states 3 days and 3 nights. So what does this mean? If each day and each night are 12 hours each, 3 days and 3 nights would be a total of 72 hours.
Quick math.
If Jesus did rise from the dead on Sunday,
bro is a mathematician. We did not know this,
Yeah.
bro.
Jesus did rise from the dead on Sunday morning, the absolute latest that Jesus could have been buried is very early Thursday morning. Some of you might say, well, maybe it can be a part of Friday, all of Saturday, and a part of Sunday, making it 3 days. As I mentioned earlier, the Bible is not vague at all regarding that part. Jesus alludes to Jonah being in the whale's belly 3 days and 3 nights. Jesus then uses that analogy to his own resurrection. So let's talk about when Jesus really was killed and buried. In Luke chapter 23, verse 44, it says, "And it was about the 6th hour, and there was darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour." This refers to the 6th hour of the Jewish day.
Ten years later.
The Passover is a one-day observance. It happens on the 14th day of the first Jewish month. It's then followed by 7 days of eating unleavened bread. That day after the Passover day, thus the first day of the
That looks
days of
like
unleavened
crackers.
bread, is referred to as the high day. That's what John 19 is referring to.
Right. I'm a bit lost on the mathematics and the time part of things, but
So basically 12 hour, 12 night Kalas, Jesus dead.
what it's trying to say is that the timings are all wrong. The timings are all messed up.
That's what he's trying to get at.
Yeah.
I think there's a good reason why Catholics do Lent. It's like they're fasting.
Yeah.
And it's sort of similar to the Passover as well.
It is.
So, and they do it till Good Friday. So I think there's a sort of a draw to paganism as well. And for some reason, also Judaism, because Sabbath is a Jew holiday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Jewish holiday, but it's a Jewish concept. But of course, you know this. Jesus was Jewish, so a lot of things carried over from Judaism to Christianity as well.
Well, let's keep
Let's keep watching.
That's
Let's
what
keep
John
watching.
19 is referring to when it says Sabbath. So Jesus was not crucified and buried on Good Friday. The only time the word Easter ever comes out in the Bible is in Acts chapter 12, verse 4. Some of you may have noticed that the verses I read from are from the King James Bible. Now, the KJV says, "And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people." Other Bibles, instead of Easter, say Passover. And for those who are aware of the paganistic background of Easter, the KJV comes under attack as supporting paganism for using the word Easter. After all, the other versions use Passover. That's obviously the correct term then, right? This cannot be further from the truth. The key here is to look at the context of these verses. Earlier, we covered what the Passover is, and we learned that following the Passover comes the days of unleavened bread. If you look closely at the previous verses, verses 1 through 3, you'll notice that Passover had to have passed already by the time that Peter was apprehended. Verse 3 says, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. It's only after that where Peter's apprehended and put in prison. Then the rest of verse 4 says that Herod intended after Easter to bring Peter forth to the people. Purely chronologically speaking, Herod waiting until Passover to bring Peter before the people, that makes no sense because the Passover had already passed. This is not a mistake in the King James Bible. Easter was a Roman holiday, as we've learned, and Herod was a Roman appointed king who was observing a Roman holiday.
Easter, Eostre, also, I believe, was worshipped by the Germanic tribes, which is why it gained a big foothold. Obviously, we know that the Germanic tribes, UK falls under that, and yeah, there's a lot of proselyting of Christianity through that.
Holiday. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a bit about the true dark history behind Easter. Thank you for watching.
All right, what do you guys think?
That's crazy. I didn't know the math was not mathing there. That's what was happening there.
So the math's not mathing. We know the symbolism for eggs here.
It's not the math that got me, it's the babies and the blood.
Oh man, that's crazy. Well, I just go to freaking Aldi or Woolworths and get like food coloring.
Yeah, so you still want to eat your Easter bunny eggs this
Well,
Easter Sanjeev?
I think I might after this. I think I might have to boycott buying chocolate eggs. I can't lie. That's just too grim for me. That's crazy. What about you, Raja?
I'm going to eat Easter eggs because they're still chocolate in the end. It's not as if they're still freaking dyed with.
Well, I would rather buy like a chocolate bar and not freaking eggs that represents and promote like babies getting killed.
But then again, eggs. Oh my god, this is like the next level if you think about it. Eggs present women's eggs, which present fertility.
No, apparently the story is that Eostre, the goddess Eostre, she tried to heal a bird, and trying to heal a bird by, making it into a rabbit, changing its form into a rabbit to save it or something like that. And as a token of gratitude, the rabbit, still able to do some bird stuff, laid an egg. And
Yeah,
gave it to
I think
Eostre.
the bird got converted. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Technically, though, he did something smart. He integrated two existing traditions with a new religion that he's trying to introduce into the country.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how also Hinduism was sort of established as well.
Brother made mergers and acquisitions.
It's the same thing with Islam in the subcontinent as well. That's how it happened. It initially started with the Sufi movement, and the Sufis tried to blend in aspects of Hinduism into the religion.
Oh, interesting. So the best way to manipulate people and create a new religion is to
Make another new religion?
make a new religion with a new god and some extra traditions, but incorporate it into existing traditions. So let's say Easter eggs. Well, I wouldn't say Easter. Even Christmas, right? I think Christmas
has some pagan roots as well, yes.
That's why actually Jesus wasn't apparently born on the 25th of December.
Yeah.
It was a pagan holiday, and it could have been Roman Catholic, what should I say, influence to it as well.
On that note, let us know what you guys think of this whole Easter, situation.
Yeah, and if you think we were misinformed, please enlighten us in the comment section below. We love your comments. So, until next time, stay tuned. Peace!
Peace.
Peace.